Good night again. We are back, Jamal, as we just touch on the St Kitts Patriots. If we just look at the squad, if the technician could just put the squad on there, Jamal, I just ask you, what is your take on that squad? As you can see, Ryan John.
So Ryan John comes in for his first CPL campaign. There's Pomal, Odin Smith, Michael Louis, the test opener, gets his first gig at the CPL level. Henrik Nokia, the number 2 T20 bowler in the world. Debre Shamsi, the South African trump card again, who did not feature in that series that West Indies won. Tristan Stubbs really manhandled our bowling. Sikander Raza, Riley Russo, again the South African international.
South African presence there.
And he didn't play. Johan Lane, youngster coming in. Ashmead Ned played West Indies under 19 cricket. Joshua De Silva, the test vice captain. Rutherford, destructive middle order batter. Dominic Drakes has played for the West Indies. Andre Fletcher, Spice Man. Evan Lewis making a return. And Kyle Mayers coming over from Barbados. And so what I'm seeing here right off the bat, Gary, is that this squad is quite heavy on opening batters, and this will be a real headache. Kyle Mayers opened the batting for West Indies. So did Evan Lewis. So did Andre Fletcher. That's 3.
And
Michael Louis, the test match opening batter, that's 4. And Riley Rousseau, he opens the batting for South Africa as well. That's 5. So it's a real headache to pick 2 of those guys to open. And what you will find as well, any of those guys that you place in the middle order, it's a different role. Moving in from opening the batting to playing in the middle order, sometimes you can feel like a fish out of water, because you're accustomed of coming in when the ball is new and hard with a specific role to attack within the power play. And now you're coming out to bat with the field spread. It's much more difficult
it doesn't matter for
get
Fletcher though.
So this is what I think would be the issue for the St Kitts and Nevis Patriots. It's a very top order team.
But question for you.
Order dominated team.
Who do you think they would prefer, that would have been preferred to buy the St Kitts Patriots to open the batting? Which 2? You have Evan Lewis, as you can see, Fletcher and Evan Lewis in that highlight there are the ones opening the batting. Okay, so do you think that the St Kitts Patriots will change things around in this year, and maybe have Michael Louis there, who's a test opener, who played a few test matches. And remember, test cricket is a whole lot different from T20 cricket also. But do you think that they will change things up? Because you have those 2 guys at the top of the order, like you said, they both have opened for in international cricket. And I do think, again, it's based on how their squad makeup is. And then you have the addition of Kyle Mayers. So what do you think? Who do you think would feature at the top of the order?
I think you need to go with the Spice Man for sure, because a number of the other openers are left-handed. Michael Louis, the test opener, I think that his call-up would serve as a reward for his excellent run, dominating first-class cricket and then doing well for the West Indies in his debut stint. I don't think that he would be a serious contender to start. I think that if something doesn't go well in terms of run production and consistency from the other opening batters, then he may feature in some games. So for sure, the right-handed Fletcher will open the batting for me. But I think that Evan might just get the nod over Kyle.
Well, remember, Evan was the captain last year. Yeah. My recollection of things, I think he did captain most of the games, or if not all of, because he sort of switched captains right in the middle of the tournament. Now you have Evan Lewis, who has always opened the batting. I don't think he's ever come down at 3. Yeah, I don't think he's ever come down at 3. So Evan Lewis has always opened the batting. Fletcher has been a little bit, there's some variation. You could use him, he's batted at 3. But then when your statistician and your analyst comes into the picture and they put those stats in front of you as a coach, and then say, listen, Fletcher is better off opening the batting. When he bats down the order, he's not as productive as he is when he's opening the batting. So too, if you say the same thing, they bring those things in front of you and they say the same thing for Kyle Mayers, right? But like I said, it's always a good headache to have in terms of having a headache to select an 11. You never want, as a coach, and I could tell you, for me, just putting my coach's hat on, you never want a straightforward 11. You always want you always want players competing for a place in your first 11. So for me, I relish those sorts of headaches, and like I said, it's difficult for players when they don't get to play, but as long as you're doing things the right way and you have conversations with them, then that's they understand what you want to do. But just looking at that team,
do all of them play?
Pardon?
All of them play.
For me, you look at that team there. Kyle Mayers just played in the World Cup. He came in as a replacement. He just played the World Cup. I do think what they might do is either Evan Lewis, for me, just putting my coach's hat on, Evan Lewis or Fletcher. Kyle Mayers would have to come at 3. Or Fletcher, Kyle Mayers. No, Fletcher, Evan Lewis, Kyle Mayers, Evan Lewis, and that would have been 2 left-handers, and then Fletcher comes at 3, but he has shown that versatility. Both Kyle Mayers has shown that versatility also, because he has batted at 3 for the West Indies. But where is he more productive? And I think he has been more productive opening the batting for the West Indies. So St Kitts have to find some way to make this work. And like you rightly said, I don't think that Mikhail Louis will start, right? Maybe later down the line he would feature in the tournament, but they look like they have a very well put together squad also. I do think that they did their homework last year. They had a little bit of inexperience within their squad. I think they've done their homework, and they've sort of filled in those gaps with the players, like as we've seen, a heavy South African presence within that squad. We have one of the quickest bowlers in the world, Henrik Nokia, playing for the St Kitts Patriots, and hoping that he's coming 100% fit. He's coming so he could feature, and we could see some excitement with some great fast bowling.
But if we could just put the squad back on the screen for us.
Yes, if our technician could just put the squad back on the screen, so Jamal could analyze that squad once again.
The question I had for you, Gary, is that you've spoken about Henrik Nokia, one of the fastest bowlers in the world. And when we have spoken about Barbados, they lack that express pace. But St Kitts has gotten it right. They've brought in Nokia. There is Odin Smith, who can get the ball, who can crank it up to over 90 miles an hour as
very
well.
Much so, very much so.
There's Dominic Drakes for some left-arm variety.
Yeah.
It's essential in your T20 lineup. But in terms of the prowess of spin bowling, other teams have significant presence of spin. So we're seeing Tabraiz Shamsi is there to bring that mystery, right? You can get the ball to spin both ways, but as the tournament goes on and the pitches exhibit that wear and tear, who do you believe will dominate with where spin bowling is concerned?
Well, you have Tabraiz Shamsi, like you mentioned, but then you have the very experienced Virasamy Pomal, who's the left-arm spinner. Remember, he was part of the victorious. Was he part of the victorious Guyana team last year, the Warriors last year? I'm not sure if he was, but he has been part of that team for quite a while. You have Ashmid Ned, another up-and-coming left-arm spinner. And like you said, with the wear and tear as the tournament goes on, that's going to happen with the pitches. Those guys are obviously going to come into play. You have Sikandar Raza, who played for St. Lucia last year. Matter of fact, I think that they thought very highly of him because he also captained a few games in the absence of the Faf Duplessis. So, it's a bit surprising that he was not retained by St. Lucia. We never know what happens behind closed doors, especially as it pertains to player contracts. But then I do think they have some surprised. You have Johan Lane, very quick bowler. He's a very quick up and coming bowler. You'd see him. I'm excited to see how he goes. And also Ryan John, who has some mystery. He knows when to use his Yorkers, when to use his slower balls also. So it'll be exciting to see how those guys go on to the tournament. I do not think that St. Kitts is a walkover in that tournament, and I'm very excited to see how they go about this year's tournament. We'll go to another break, our final break. We'll go to our final break, and we'll discuss our home team, which is the St. Lucia Kings, when we come back.